Welcome everyone to the presentation here on seam sealers from the Parker Lord team. I'd like to take a little bit of time today, go over some of the seam sealers, and we'll be talking a little bit about the products as well as some applications. So ever so briefly, we'll be talking a little bit here on what we're going to cover. So we're going to talk a little bit about seam sealer chemistries, kind of a high level overview, as well as some of the considerations that go into selecting the right type of adhesive and what might be applicable for your plant or your manufacturing location. As well, then we'll talk about choosing kind of the right products then, a little bit of an overview of some of the offerings that the Parker Lord team has, and then some product comparisons. So ever so briefly talking about some common chemistries. This is a high level overview, and we're going to talk a little bit about all the chemistries that are out there available in the marketplace. So the oldest and the most common here is a PVC. This is most commonly seen on automotive applications. It's an inexpensive chemistry, but it does have some drawbacks in the sense that you're able to only bond to a coated surface, and it's typically best suited for high volume applications or robotically applied. Not necessarily the best application for adding seam sealers to an existing plant design that may not have originally accommodated a seam sealing application or a station. Polyurethanes and MS polymers, we'll talk briefly about those. Polyurethanes may come in a one or two component, the same thing with an MS polymer. These materials are good for going over coated surfaces and typically have a temperature restriction, in both cases, wet paint type systems, where it's 250 or let's say 300 degrees in Fahrenheit and below. And then lastly, there's an epoxy solution out there. These are typically the most robust in terms of temperature performance, and they can be used on bare metal as well. So some considerations. Again, as I mentioned, the one component systems in the transportation market. These are typically limited to applications after an e-coat process. The e-coating process tends to be a higher paint bake temperature, and so it restricts the chemistries of the type of available products. In terms of cost, the PVC is again about the least expensive out there, followed by polyurethane, and roughly about the same with MS polymer products. They do not adhere well to bare metals, and as I mentioned, they're limited to an oven bake temperature resistance, typically 300 degrees in Fahrenheit and below. But they are ideal for robotically applied applications, certainly after e-coat. And this is where the automotive manufacturers typically in a high volume application have engineered this into their plants and made up accommodations ahead of time in plant planning processes. They are poor for high touch areas where there's human interaction. So after being applied, there's a tendency to be able to smudge them or wipe them onto the painted surface or areas which will be top coated, which can lead to quality issues. So two component systems, such as an epoxy, allow for application prior to e-coat. So they have the chemistry themselves can withstand these higher bake temperatures. All two component systems typically are a little bit higher cost than a one component system, but more typically these are better suited for a lower volume. By that I mean less than automotive level applications or automotive volumes, and areas where there's high human touch points. So the possibility of human interaction once the seam sealer has been applied, where it might be smeared or brushed. They have the highest bake temperature resistance, as I mentioned. They certainly can be robotically applied, and again before e-coats in the top coat. It can also be applied on top of an e-coat before the top coat goes down. And then we also have faster cure options where just after the seam sealing application, you might have touch point areas where you want to prevent smudging and touching of the seam sealers and destroying the aesthetics of it. So now talking a little bit about the seam sealers and the chemistry and selecting. So these accommodations and the recommendations making here are really made for where you haven't accommodated for a seam sealer application in your plant planning process prior to wanting to apply it. So you haven't really set up the plant, want to add seam sealing to the process. These two types of chemistries, polyurethanes and epoxies, are some of the better choices for it. They have good to great oven temperature and washout resistance for automated paint processes. Again, the epoxy side can withstand the e-coat temperatures, and they have good to fair elongation, and we have various products you can select to accommodate different types of seam sealing applications. The polyurethanes have great adhesion to e-coats, less so to bare metals, and there are some toxicity issues, especially now as they're emerging, with respects to urethanes. Good balance of cost and elongation for the top coat adhesion. They're really some of the best ones for applying to an e-coat before a wet paint top coat. and certainly can be applied after paint, after the entire process has been finished. And again, as I mentioned, polyurethanes typically have 250 to 300 or below in terms of a paint bake cycle resistance. As I've kind of outlined a little bit of the chemistries, that really gets into choosing kind of that right system. And kind of starting out here in the upper left-hand corner, most often cost is a consideration. So your decisions can often be highly influenced by the cost of the overall application and the material being applied. The next question comes into a factor is whether you're going to be applying this before an e-coat or before the top coat. So when you're doing before the e-coat, then you certainly want to select an epoxy type product. And then after e-coat, you have the flexibility of going to either an epoxy or a urethane or MS polymer. Another consideration, as I mentioned before, is floor space. So if you're adding these applications to an existing design or to an existing flow process, where are you going to be able to put it in as a consideration? Do you have the footprint available for an automated station or a human man station, etc.? And then how it fits into the overall process flow, in and out of the oven, etc. Then coming back to those decision points on high volume versus low volume, if it's a high value product with kind of a low output, then 2K solutions are often the better choice. If it's a high volume and you have the ability to set up an automated paint line prior to this, then the 1K solution might be the better choice if you can have that space and accommodation available. Now we would like to talk a little bit about some of the available products from the Parker Lord team in terms of seam sealers. So we have a couple of products listed here. The first one is a 2-component polyurethane. This is a bright white product. It's available in a couple of different speeds, a fast, medium, and slow. It is a bright white and it's paintable, and certainly it's because it's a polyurethane, as I've mentioned, this would be after the e-coat. So it does have a lower paint bake cycle, again that 300 and below. The next two products, we've got two different epoxy products. They have a medium speed or a faster speed. One is a little bit for rigid applications, that's the 320, 323. And then the 340 is a little more flexible, where you might have some flex in the parts, such as a thinner gauge steel. It has fast and medium speeds. Both of them are kind of an off-white to tan color. Both of them are paintable, and certainly both of them can be e-coated. Also, as well as I mentioned, the epoxies have some of the highest temperature resistance, so both these products have the ability to withstand powder coating paint bake cycles. So these are the very high temperatures, let's say 450 below Fahrenheit and below. As well, both of these products have an additive where we have a UV light traceability to it. So under UV light banks or in a handheld application, you can inspect and ensure that the seam sealers have been applied to all the appropriate seams, and as well there's no smudges on the surface that needs to be painted. The last product we're highlighting here is the 7610 DTM or direct to metal. It's a 1-component MS polymer product. It's a little bit slower curing. It's a moisture cure product, so it skins over first. However, interestingly enough, the product is paintable immediately, so a wet top coat can go directly over the top. It's not really designed for prior to e-coat, but after e-coat and prior to a top coat it can be applied. And it's good for sealing and just general sealing even after paint operations. Spotlighting it a little bit, here's a spotlight on the Lord 7555. Again, as I mentioned, there's a couple of different open times of the products. We have a fast, a medium, a slow. They're bright white, they're non-yellowing products. Overall, they can withstand painting, so they can go down on top of an e-coat or a primed painted surface, and quite readily paintable by wet coat paint systems. As well, they're UV resistant. So the next one in the spotlight here is the 320 323, one of our newer products. This is the epoxy that I mentioned. It's for a rigid surface material. It's paintable within about 4 hours. However, additional heat can be applied to cure the product sooner, and then it can go into the paint bake cycle faster. Again, it's because it's an epoxy, the material itself can resist the high paint bake cycles included with powder painting systems. Here's a spotlight on the Lord 340 product. This also is another epoxy product where we've added UV tracers to the product, so it's allowed for visibility and inspection prior to going into a paint cycle. And again, because it's an epoxy product, it's able to withstand powder coating temperatures and below. Ideal prior to e-coat or on top of an e-coat or a primer system. The last product we wanted to highlight was this Lord 76 DTM. This is a 1-component MS polymer system. DTM stands for direct to metal, so it can be applied directly to a bare metal surface and then immediately top coated by a wet paint system. It has UV resistance, low VOCs. It skins over fairly quickly, but again, One of the advantages of the product is that you can quickly paint it or paint it immediately with a wet paint cycle. Pulling all the systems together, as I mentioned early on, now we want to compare all the different seam sealers out there. So again, the first ones here is a PVC highlighted to the left. These are again systems that are after E-coat. It's a fairly low cost product, one of the lowest cost products out there. But again, it's best for after E-coat, won't withstand the high temperatures, and it really is best for high volume automated application. The epoxy systems like 2K that we've highlighted, these are systems that are going to withstand the higher paint bake cycles such as powder paints. The cost is more than a PVC because it is a two-component system, but certainly an advantageous product in being able to withstand all the different temperatures and processes. One-component urethanes, certainly another product out there, lower cost, can certainly be applied on top of an E-coat, but in this case, one-component systems require them to be skinned over first prior to painting. So there is a dwell time that has to be accommodated for. Two-component polyurethanes, these can be applied on top of the final paint finish or on top of an E-coat or primed surface, and then a wet coat paint system over the top. Cost is a little bit more than the urethane one-component systems, but again, the products that we highlighted, these are bright white systems and certainly can stand on their own after a final finish or application after a final paint cycle. Lastly is the MS polymer systems. Again, after E-coat or a primed surface, cost is fairly low with them. With the Lord product that we highlighted, the 7610, that product can be painted immediately, so it can be fit into the manufacturing operations. A fairly easy application process. And then again, if it's a final coat, you just have to allow for it to skin over prior to human touch operations. On this slide, I'd like to highlight paint adhesion to the Lord seam sealers. Critical to any of the applications, as we've mentioned, is painting over it or adhesion to the paint itself or a prime coat. And you can see here we used a couple of different systems. Most people will be familiar with them. These are a crosshatch adhesion test, either the ASTM D3359. In that case, the best is 5B, the worst is 0. And then there's the ISO test, which in this case, the ISO 2409, the best being a class 0, the worst being class 5. And that just generally indicates whether the paint is adhering or not, or being pulled away from the surface. In this case, the 7555, the top product, set it down to 3 different types of primers. You can see here in the slide, an epoxy primer, an epoxy silane modified material, and an aliphatic polyurethane primer system. Again, all very good adhesion, the best in class, 320, 323, as well as the 340. In those 2 cases, we looked at the same types of primers. Again, the epoxy silane, and the aliphatic. Again, very good results. But as well, we also did powder painting over the top of them. The powder paints tend to be that high paint bake cycle and tend to be the most rigorous of the paint systems. So in this case, we used a TGIC polyester, an epoxy powder paint by itself, and then just a polyurethane powder paint. And in all cases, the 2 epoxy products performed very well. So now I'd like to take a little bit of time to highlight some of the applications where seam sealers are being used. The seam sealers like the 7555. Again, this is a bright white 2-component polyurethane. It can be certainly used in transportation applications over the top of paint, but this one's a little bit different, so it's an interesting highlight. And the material itself is resistant to most cleaning agents, and it's impenetrable, which provides a high seal and a tight seal. And it's easy to clean and it's fast curing. So in the application to the right, you can see the pictures where they're actually seaming clean room applications. So these are modular assemblies of panels. They're assembled on site and then require some sort of seam seal to be placed in between. The seam sealing applications are critical in this case because they might either be exposed to high toxicity cleaning agents or highly caustic cleaning agents, or a UV light cleaning system. And in either case, the 7555 performs very well against them. Furthermore, the 7555 is FDA 21 CFR compliant for indirect food, so it can be used in clean room applications or in food applications. On this spotlight, I'd like to talk a little bit about the Lord 320, 323. As I mentioned early on, this product is an epoxy product and it has UV trace elements that allow for inspection. You can see the pictures to the right where the application is being built out on cab structures, and then they use a bank of UV lights to inspect it. This ensures that prior to the paint process, the seam sealers have been applied to all the appropriate seams It allows for a rapid visual inspection by either a QC or the operator of the seam sealing application. And you can see in several of the pictures, the material fluoresces quite brightly and is readily visible. A little bit different, I'd like to highlight here again the 320-323. In this case, it's used in a telecommunication mast. The advantages of this product is it's readily being applied to a bare metal. It withstands an E-coat and then a high-bake powder paint cycle as well. But the application is a little bit different. Rather than seam sealing or preventing moisture or air penetration of it, in this case, the spot welds are added to the overall telecommunications mast, and the customer wanted to seam seal in between the spot welds to give a nice aesthetic appearance. So in this case, the adhesive itself or the seam sealer can be applied either in a smooth fashion and smoothed out so that it has a nice even aesthetic appearance, or it can be used in a zigzag pattern or a ruffled pattern to replicate the appearance of a weld. So in this application, I'd like to also highlight some of the differences on this one using the 320-323. In previous applications, we looked at seam sealing for moisture penetration or for an aesthetic appearance replicating a weld. This application, we help select the epoxy for it for a floor scrubber application. The seam sealers are applied to the tank, and because it's an epoxy chemistry, the chemistry itself prevents corrosion and penetration of the floor cleaning agents in a concentrated form. It has good adhesion to the bare metal, and then it's E-coated and powder coated afterwards. So in this slide, I'd just like to highlight some packaging size and part numbers. It's best to go ahead and get you in contact with your Parker Lord Regional Sales Manager or one of our authorized distributors. We have the 7555, the 320-323, the 340 epoxy system, and the 7610, all highlighted here with the various part numbers and order lead time. So I'd just like to sum up. I'd like to thank everyone for taking the time to view this presentation and go through it. If you have any questions, certainly feel free to contact me. My contact information is there.